I was actually born in Berlin, Germany during World War II. And so it was bombed out using vegetables of anybody in the group. Anyway, it was a tough time. And eventually my relatives, my mother's relatives, offered to have us come to the United States in December. And went to Holland and boarded a ship there and took the passage to the States by way of Bermuda, which is kind of neat.
Where did you get to go?
Well, let's see, let's start with, first of all, down to Panama, Puerto Rico, and then to the Azores, and then Africa, North Africa, Tripoli, Libya, Tehran, Saudi Arabia. Then we'd go up further north to Italy. Let me see what else. Got some trips out to Bermuda, Torrejon, Spain, down the Panama Canal. I mentioned Cairo. Cairo, Egypt was nice. And to go to Cairo and to Saudi Arabia, we couldn't wear uniforms. Any of the crew, not just women. And women, we weren't sure the women could go in, especially Saudi Arabia, but they did let us go. We couldn't leave the airport, but that was all right. We still got to see some of the area. Then a trip to Rio de Janeiro, which I mentioned, was a diplomatic mission. That was beautiful. I think that's my favorite place ever to go. That was just outstanding. Copacabana Beach and Corcovado up on the hill was outstanding. Got to Reykjavik, Iceland, Goose Bay, Labrador, Hamilton, Bermuda. Let's see. Scotland, Brigadoons Bridge in Scotland, and we got to Paris and to Germany, to you got to Travis Air Force Base. We went to Guam, Midway, ran around the pineapple fields in Hawaii. Back then, the Dole pineapple was open. We got pictures of us sitting out in the pineapple fields. Wake Island and Tachikawa, Japan. That was a wonderful trip too. So pretty much got to cover a large part of the world.
What was your favorite?
Very lucky. I'm sorry?
What was your favorite?
I think Rio. I think Rio was really something. I mean, and it's nowhere I would probably take off and go to now because it's far away and all. It was so spectacular. I'll never forget standing on Corcovado, which is high up, and you're overlooking the whole city. There's a big statue of Christ up there, and I can still hear like voices coming up. And it was the eeriest thing to hear like voices from the city, you know. And it was just a spectacular city to see. It really was. I mean, I love Paris, I like London, I like those other places. And Tachikawa was nice, and Japan was so different. But I think Rio was the one that really got to me. Yeah.
Do you guys want me to go? Is that okay? Sure. Okay. How long did you serve for in the Air Force?
It was 3 years was my enlistment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you were done,
sorry.
When you were done serving, was it hard to go back to your regular life?
Not that hard because I had a job. A lot of our pilots were from Korea because Korean conflict had ended. Vietnam was just starting, and they were working for the airlines. So one of the pilots helped me get a job at Northwest Airlines out of Minneapolis. So I had a job to go to. Yeah, good job to go to. So that made it easier. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of being in the Air Force?
I think the camaraderie, being with my fellow Air Force people, you felt a real bond with them. You felt like you were doing something that was important, you know. Didn't feel like you were just twittering your time away behind a desk somewhere. Yeah, I felt that was really good, and I really was, in a small way, maybe paying back, for the kindness that the government had given us by bringing this over here. So no, it was a good feeling. It's just the program I was in, this flight attendant program, was short-lived because I think about a year after I got out, they contracted to civilian. So that program doesn't exist anymore. And there's a lot of Air Force people never heard of it. They say, what? What did you do? We never heard of that. And so I found a book, finally, on MATS, Military Air Transport. And yeah, they talked about that. And there happens to be one picture in here of a flight attendant, which the first time I think I've ever seen one outside, let me find it here, that we existed, and there was just one line on it, on this whole thing about that we even existed. So the nurses were on the plane, but not plane attendants. And yet here we were, right there. That was us, we actually were there. So it's just I think it was a small window that this program existed. And we were on the propeller planes. It's a Constellation, got 3 tails in the back. I think I mentioned we crew rested on board because the flights would be long from Harmon, Newfoundland over to Mildenhall, England was 14, 15 hours. The plane, it's prop, right? Here's the engines. And they had the crew bunks right above the engines. And so we'd take turns sleeping, and I learned how to sleep when it's very noisy and just lay down for my 30 minutes and, it was time to get up and get back to work. So that was interesting. But it was such a unique experience, especially for a young woman back there. Not that many people would even think about joining the service. So, I don't know. I say many ladies that did join ended up behind the desk somewhere, which was very, they needed them. I got really lucky. So, and the girlfriend, and she's in the airport with me when we started out, my best friend, we're still friends to this day. So she lives in Israel, and we Skype and see each other. She works over here once in a while. She has through the years. And anyway, so it's been a long time, lifelong bond. So, yes.
What is your most memorable moment?
I think actually taking that pledge at the beginning, once basics training was over, and actually realizing, yes, I am now an Air Force person. It really meant a lot. I just felt very good about that. Oh yeah, here's our uniform, by the way. I didn't mention seersucker. Do you know what seersucker material is? No, it's a cotton, and it's got blue lines in it. It's white with blue stripes, and that was our regular uniform. And it had this wide skirt, right? And they had to be starched. So we had to wash and starch these. Do you know what starch is? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So we had this barracks of about 80 girls, and we had our basement had the laundry. There was, 10 ironing boards for all these women. So, because you had to wash them and then starch them and dry them. And then you had to iron them. And skirts had to stand when we got done. So here we are on both ends of the ironing boards trying to get this done. My roommate just passed right out from me. It was hot in Texas, and there was no air conditioning in the barracks back then. It was in June, July, and August, so it was the heat of the summer. So but it was a very proud moment when I actually, graduated and got my flight, I was really in the Air Force. And then the other is when I became a flight attendant. I loved that. That was just a real good moment.
Can I go? Is that okay with you? Yes. Okay. How did you feel about leaving home?
I was ready. It was scary. I was an only child, really. But no, I was fine with that. Some trepidation, of course, but I was fine with it. And my parents fully supported me, and so I just looked at it as a new adventure.
Yeah. How old were you when you first started your service?
No,
Yeah.
I was 19. Yeah.
Is that young for starting, or is that like the normal?
No, I was like a year older than normal because I was a year behind in school. So a lot of people that did join right out of high school. Yeah, if they're going to join. Because the ones that didn't go on to college might join the service or get a trade school. So it wasn't, most of the gals I was serving with were my age.
How old were you when you moved to America?
9 as well. December 1949, so I was still 8. Yeah.
Would you recommend what you did in the war for anyone else?
Yes, I would. I think the thing I would recommend is the discipline you learn and the idea that you're part of a group. Not that you can't be an individual, but you have a chance to respect your country. I think that's so important. Yes, I would. Some notes here. I'm trying to think of what else. I had a couple other things I was thinking about that the other day. Life lessons, loyalty, discipline, respect for country, getting along with others, and lifelong appreciation of the country you live in and the things that are good. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but I think it's a very, very good thing, and just to realize that service to your own country is very important.
Did you have any other family members that had served?
No, I don't have any other family members here.
Do you have any advice to anyone who would want to go into service?
I would say do it. You know, really, I mean, it's a good way to get training. You might not, well, I think now when you join, they even assign you different jobs, so it's a little different if you have interest. You learn an occupation or a skill that you can have for the rest of your life. Even if you stay in just for your enlistment, you still have your GI benefits. You can go to college afterwards on the GI Bill. You can purchase a home using your GI Bill. So if you go in just for that, the training you get is going to be valuable for the rest of your life, and then you can take advantage of some of the other benefits. I think it is worthwhile, yes. Things about signing up, and some of the requirements that they had. And here's the recruiter wishing me well as I leave Asheville, North Carolina on the bus. And my little green suit on with my little flower. And, oh yeah, here he is having me sign my papers, and that's my parents here. It was, yeah, when I got out.
Wow, so pretty.
And then after that, a friend of mine, we took a month-long trip to Germany. We traveled all over, which I'm going again in June.
You are?
I'll take that river cruise, yeah. I haven't done a river cruise down there. Going to Paris and then down the Rhine.
This is all so pretty.
Yeah, these are the castles, a lot of the rooms in the castles. And that's my discharge papers, which is